Many people aren't aware how valuable and effective sports psychology can be, and even fewer people can afford the opportunity to work with a seasoned sports psychologist. With Patreon, I'm both educating people on the value of sports psychology and bringing affordable guidance to athletes who need more help focusing on their mental game and aren't able to commit to one-on-one sessions. The price of Patreon starts at just $5 a month, which helps us continue to produce high quality content. Our higher tiers are a lot more involved with the fundamentals of sports psychology and how you can apply it to your life. We are here to make sure that all athletes at every level can develop the mental and emotional toolbox they need for success outside of physical training. With your support, this Patreon will become a great place for all of us to grow as athletes and, more importantly, to grow as people. Welcome back to See It and Feel It with Dr. Brett. Right, I actually can relax and, hit the ball pretty straight, right? And then it just comes down to putting. Right?
I've witnessed you in a rush to the first tee box and hitting it dead straight down the middle. What's your pre-shot or pre-game routine? What
So
goes through your head?
what you witnessed, thanks, that's a great question. What's my pre-shot routine? What you witnessed though was years and years of work on that first tee box where it doesn't matter whether I show up late or if I haven't even warmed up or stretched. I've literally mentally prepared myself to relax on that first tee shot and hit the ball, straight the vast majority of the time. Warming up always helps. Stretching always helps. The pros do a lot of that. We're busy people. So weekend golfers or once a week golfers or once a month golfers, a lot of times we come to the tee box, late or barely on time. And I've certainly done that, too many times, I would say. But the secret to that one is to train yourself two things. One is the pre-shot routine, which never changes, 10, 15, 20 seconds, depending on who you are and what that routine is. So I'm always going to do my pre-shot routine. And then the other part of it is me spending many years focusing on relaxing on that first tee shot, regardless of the circumstances, because it's really cool to be able to do that, to nail that first tee shot. I've done it in front of celebrities like Jim Nantz and Byron Scott. I've done it in real pressure situations where, I'm just like a once a week golfer and I go play with a celeb and I gotta find a way to chill out on that first tee box, right? And there's just an amazing feeling when you nail it, when the pressure is on. And then it doesn't necessarily mean that you nail the second shot, because then you have the adrenaline comes down and everything. And so there's no, one of the golfers I coach now, he's a pro, but he wants to be a touring pro at some point. And, you have to play a lot, right? And so there's no substitute. Like any sport, there is no substitute for playing a lot. Years ago, when I traveled, on and off for a couple years, and I started in Pensacola, I was, 40 years old at the time, so it was 14 years ago. It was just me and my dog Tuck, and my girlfriend was working. My girlfriend at the time was working all the time, and I would just go to the golf course and chip for a couple hours a day. And then I played with a pro, and I was my chipping was lights out. Well, he's like, "Why are you so good?" And I was practicing every day. So, there is no substitute for physical practice, but at the same time, the mental game, the having the intention and working on the intention in visualizations, in meditative states, and then using your breath to relax and let go. And if I'm not too tired, that works. If I'm too tired, all bets are off. Sometimes I'm terrible, right? I can get yippy and whatever.
Right.
That's why I talk a lot about making sure that you're not too fatigued whenever you do whatever it is you want to do that you love.
Right. I mean, you say you're a once a week golfer now, but your time spent, it's not really once a week golfer. You put your time in golf, right? I mean, usually people are not going to be as close to a scratch golfer playing once a week.
Well, I'm going to focus hard, right? Just because like it feels good to play well, right? So I'm always going to
Right.
focus, but the once a week thing does show up, what I mean, which means I'm not as tough in competition like I used to be. If it was like a long time ago, when you're younger, you just are a little bit tougher. And then as you get older, it gets harder, right? Your nerves aren't as good. So you do need to play a little more, practice a little bit more, or meditate more, visualize more, right? That does offset some of it. But there is a feel element to it, and then the lack of fatigue. Like I said, if I feel good, somehow I can still be pretty tough, right? And if I'm not feeling good, forget it, right?
Right.
So that's,
Well,
yeah, good.
well, I played my best rounds of golf with you there. Part of it is I feel it's a little bit of the ambiance, a little bit of, environment ambiance. Yes, we want to be competitive with each other, but are you coaching other athletes in golf on the course, or are they reporting to you afterwards, going over their game?
Yeah, no, I've done it all. I've played with lots of athletes, and, I'm never doing physical instruction, right? It's all about letting go and relaxing, getting in the
Got it.
moment and, sticking with your routine and really observing how it is that people play. You can tell a lot about somebody, not just an athlete, but a business person or an entrepreneur. When you play golf with somebody 4 or 5 hours, you're learning a lot about their personality, right?
Right.
So it's invaluable in terms of like, everybody has a different style, right? Some people are super friendly and talkative in between shots. Some people are more quiet. Some people are more introverted, and some are more extroverted. Really, so that playing with somebody is awesome, right? The hard part is I want to play well too. So you got to kind of, what I mean, it's tricky, right? Because you want to like, focus on someone else, but also play well, and that gets
Right.
tricky. But I
Right.
love it. Anytime I get a chance, I usually say yes. So, to a business person or an athlete, if they want to golf with me and it feels right, or it's a fit, or it's in our schedule, I absolutely do that for sure.
Now I'm the kind of golfer I am. Basically, the as close to professional lessons as I've got was from you, but it was really on the mental side, and maybe you've observed some things on my swing. A
Yeah,
guy like
definitely.
me needs a professional, maybe lesson here or there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I mean, one of the reasons that I think, you played better with me in general is that because, we like each other and I really appreciate who you are as a person and I'm super supportive, right? And you're supportive too. And so we have good chemistry. And then anytime that you're going to need help or anything,
Right.
or if your lineup is screwy, I can point out stuff like that. Or if you if your backswing changes, we can point that out, right? So I can observe the physical stuff and add value when it's appropriate, but not with a pro, right? These pros that I coach, right? They got their coaches on the physical realm, their swing coach and their putting coach and whatever. I don't go near that. But
Right.
what I am doing with them is different than when I'm playing with like, a 20 handicapper or something, or 10 handicapper, right? That's different, right? So with them, I can say, look, it seems like, your lineup's getting a little screwy here, or, what I mean, you got a really fast with your backswing. Because like
Right.
rhythm and, as a lot of playing well is about, getting into a nice tempo and rhythm. And if you get really quick, whether it's putting or on your backswing, that's pretty obvious. And if someone is coachable and open to having that pointed out, then that's super valuable. But the mental side is about that 15 or 20 seconds of pure focus and starting over when, into your pre-shot routine when someone interrupts you.
What's the target age of a client that's a great athlete? I mean, it maybe, and I know in the past you've coached kids to existing pros aspiring professionals, wanting to be on tour. What's the age range? And if it's a kid, it's not the kid seeking. Is it their parents knowing that maybe they need that mental aspect of the game?
I mean, look, I'm working with a 9-year-old right now,
Wow.
and he was 8 when we first started working together. He's a hockey player. So, little kids have it's not, sometimes they have performance issues, but sometimes they have school issues or family issues or communication issues or, attention deficit issues. And so, just kind of helping the family get everything right, right? The communication with the parents and the coaches. So, I've definitely worked with my share of little ones. Most of the kids I'm working with are 15 to 25 or so.
Yeah.
But I do have, from time to time, 2 or 3 kids that are, 10, 11, 12. And this kid just turned 9 and he's kind of awesome. We only do, a half hour or something, but it's awesome.
I mean, at 9, I didn't have much of thoughts or a voice. I just wanted to play, right? You must have to work on having a kid communicate because there's not a lot that
Oh,
they
it's
would
hard
do.
work on my end. I'm earning my pesos
You have
because,
you have to dig.
but
You
yeah,
have to
because
dig.
it's a lot of work, right? But he's gotten good at it, and some kids are more verbal than others. But I've really taught him, how to meditate and how to practice mindfulness. It doesn't matter, 8, 9 years old. You can really. He's a pretty decent meditator. Like if I meditate with him, he can stay in it for a long time, and he meditates every day. The last session we did, we're going to have him meditating now at least twice a day because he was having, more issues when he's very ADD, and when his medicine wears off in the afternoon, he was really struggling. And so we're going to add another meditation in there, not during the school day because there's no time, but another one at night, not just early morning or whatever, just to get him, a little more peaceful at night before he goes to bed. Because meditation before bed can make your sleep a little bit better, but also, it can relax you a little bit. So you also
Right.
sometimes fall asleep a little sooner, right?
Well, I remember being a young kid. I remember coaching young elite athletes, male athletes for club teams on the soccer side. And I just remember from my standpoint that at the age 9, 10, 11, pretty much all I did good was listen. I probably didn't have much to communicate except amongst my peers. But
Mm.
if my coach were to ask me a question, it was a short response. Or if a coach figure were to ask me, it was a short response. Or I would just listen and shake my head yes or
It's
no.
so true. Yeah, it's so true. When we were driving back, I got a call from a top D1 soccer player that
Cool.
just graduated from his program and he wants to turn pro. And so we're going to be talking tomorrow morning. And I got news for you. It's a lot more exciting when you're coaching, a 21-year-old, because the 8-year-old is tough. I mean, it's rewarding, but it's tough because of the communication skills aren't quite developed there. A 21-year-old, they have a lot to say, right? There's a lot going on about becoming a professional soccer player and all that, is involved. And this guy's never really had any kind of sports psychology or mental game training. So we have a lot to work on. And I'm actually very excited. This will be I've interviewed, pro soccer players or whatever, but this will probably be the first one I'm coaching. So this will be fun.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you have
And
time? You want to keep going or you got to go?
I do have to go. Yeah, I
Okay,
should probably.
perfect. Amar,
Yeah,
you're awesome. Maybe we'll bring you back for another one. Amar
awesome.
Valera, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Dr. Brett.
Thanks, Dr. Brett.
Thanks for watching See It and Feel It with me, Dr. Brett. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, or share it with a friend.